Hey, everyone, and welcome to the Brentwood Baptist Leadership Podcast. I am Kristen Patton, and today we are wrapping up the Road to Elevate, our August series highlighting breakout sessions from the Elevate Church Conference on September 21st and 22nd this year, 2026. And I am joined by my good friend, Brad Smith, to talk about one of the greatest opportunities that every church has, walking with parents in transitional years to help build lasting faith in the next generation. So whether you serve in kids ministry, student ministry, or you just simply care about families, today's conversation will give you a preview of what you'll experience at Elevate. So let's jump in. Brad, why are we talking about fifth grade leadership today?
Well, fifth grade is just one of those pivotal years. When you're growing up and your kids, whether you have kids or work with kids, you know that the fifth grade year is a lot of changes physically are happening, but also mentally and emotionally. And so it's one of those years that if you're not careful, it'll slip right past you and you've missed a huge opportunity to really impact them for future leadership. You know, we're talking about the long game. We're talking about what does it look like? And so for a fifth grader, it's a great opportunity to really impact the future of the church and leadership, but also just them personally. So it's a great opportunity. Right.
Because if we truly believe that children are a part of the church today, not just the future of the church, then we have to give them meaningful ways to contribute today, right?
Exactly.
So we got to play that long game, like you said earlier. So how do we take the influence that fifth graders have with their peers and how do we turn it into leadership that lasts? So you and I have talking a little bit about how the needs that a fifth grader has is very, very different than the need that a first grader has, right? Like if we have fifth graders, we sometimes see them check out. I don't know about you, but I see them check out at the end of their fifth grade year. And so if they're refusing to do the motions or not wanting to put their sticker on the chart for bringing their Bible every year, then other kids are going to follow that, right? And so we began this conversation about fifth graders need something different. They don't need the crafts and the motions and the sticker charts and the goldfish. They need something just a little bit different than what we have been offering them. So it's not that they're checking out of kids ministry. They're just craving more responsibility. So I guess we have to ask, what does a fifth grader need? If they don't need that, what does a fifth grader need?
Yeah, absolutely. The thing about fifth grade is that we don't give them enough credit. We always think about it as they're just a child or they're just a kid. They'll actually get into doing service or they'll get into leadership stuff when they get into student ministry or into high school or even sometimes in college. But the reality is that a fifth grader, with just what they deal with on a daily basis, they process way more than a lot of the older generations ever thought about. And so I don't think we give them enough credit to start, is that they have a great their minds are sponges. They're ready to take it on. And so I think what they need is the opportunity to be able to show what they can do. But also, we need to push them. We need to we need to say, hey, you guys can do this. Help them understand and recognize that when they're in that group of first through fifth grade, or even really they can lead in student ministry in sixth grade, they can lead up. But that's one of the deals that I think we just have to recognize that they have a huge potential and ability. We need to push them and really and sort of help them see that they have that opportunity. And so I think that's the question you were asking. I know what you were trying to go to. But I mean, they are set and primed, ready to take it because they are looking for more opportunities. And if we can help them see that they're influencing that younger generation, they can sort of start grasping and holding on to those things that will really set them up for the future. So,
absolutely. And even if you look at scripture, right? Jesus consistently invited people into ministry, right? Like he laid the mission before them and said, go, before they truly understood everything. He sent out the disciples. He gave them responsibility. He entrusted them with ministry. And he didn't wait until they had everything figured out. He didn't wait until they knew what to do and how to participate. He invited them in. And so our goal is to invite these fifth graders in. And I think that the way that some churches and ministries approach kids ministry is that they're just there to be taught. They're just there to be entertained.
They're a number.
They're a number.
Yeah, they're just a number.
But if you look at a lot of children at this age, they are believers or they're becoming believers. And so we need to reframe our thinking or think and ask the question, like, what does it mean for them to meaningfully belong to the church? Because if the kid is a Christian, you can expect the same thing from them that you expect from other Christians. You know, like the spirit inside of them is the same spirit inside of us. And they're younger. Yeah. They're still learning. You know, they're physically and emotionally maturing, but they're being sanctified and they're being discipled just like we are, right?
Well, and I think also, I mean, you think about it, those fifth graders, they have they don't know they can do it until they actually do it. And so I think the opportunities that we give them, whether that be, they may not be able to teach a Bible study to a group of adults, but they can absolutely lead a devotional or a Bible study with their kids. And so it's showing them those tools that, hey, you can do this and this is what it looks like. And I think they can model for those other kids. And so, I mean, you're spot on with what you're saying there. I think it's appropriate for us to really give them those opportunities. I think it's good. Yeah.
So we've talked about why we would want to do this, but what happens if we don't?
Yeah. Working with kids as long as you and I have, we've seen just about everything. Although I am surprised on a weekly basis what our fifth graders and all these kids show us. And sometimes it's pretty scary. But I think what happens if we don't jump in and get these fifth graders in line and in the direction of, hey, leadership and what they can do is, one, they get bored. It creates disciplinary issues in the classroom, and then it just trickles down from there. The kids that are underneath them are learning bad habits. So there might be a child in there that needs to hear what's happening that day, and they're going to miss out because these fifth graders are distracted and bored and all the things. But also, I think if you look at, again, the long game is that you lose out on potential leader for the church.
Absolutely.
You lose out on the potential of sending people off in the mission field, future preachers, future ministers, future just general leaders in the church. They're building on that from a foundation in fifth grade all the way through as they get older. So if we miss out on those opportunities, we're just delaying and potentially missing out on what could be the next best leader that we've ever had. And so I think it's a huge deal for us to be able to do that, because if we don't, we don't know what the end looks like in many ways, but we're going to miss out on some of those huge opportunities for them to lead the church.
Yeah.
So.
Agreed. Because the risk isn't losing the fifth grader. The parent is going to bring the kid to church, right? Like you can't drive. Your parent is still going to bring you, but the risk really happens when we recognize this need and we don't do anything about it.
Exactly.
You know, because the moment that a child realizes they need me here, church changes from a place to attend to a place that they belong, right?
They own it.
They own it.
They are a part of the church.
They are a part of the church. They have found that meaningful element that that needs to be taught at such a young age, because we see so many people that go through kids ministry never learning to serve. So then why are we surprised when they become consumers as an adult? And so now is such a critical time to take that momentum that we have in the influence and the leadership and say, hey, we see you. Let's do this. Let's not miss this
And
window.
one of the other things that we, I've had a lot of conversations about this, but one of the byproducts that we kind of miss out on is the effect that it has on their family.
Absolutely.
Like for the fifth grader, we're trying to partner with parents, and we want the parents to kind of own this process with their fifth grader, and we want to do that. But ultimately, if we're breathing into these fifth graders at church, it's going to play dividends in their home and in their family. I mean, just this past week, as a church, we baptized little Chase. And so Chase was one of those kids that came to church and was getting active and being a part. And then the parents started coming along. So there's opportunities if these kids get excited about being at church, the parents get excited, and then that affects long-term for leadership for them, and also just the overall health and spiritual well-being of their family. So it's a huge win if you can get these fifth graders bought in for it. So it's really good.
So good. And I had not really even thought about the family piece, about how the fifth grader brings the family in. I think that's so good. That's so good. I have a fifth grade daughter right now, and she just finished her fifth grade year, and it's so tempting in this season to be like, I cannot wait until we get to students, or I cannot wait until she's a little bit more able to do X, Y, and Z. But the Lord just continues to remind my husband and I that, like, this season is so precious. Don't rush it. Like, she's given us an invitation to speak into her life. And eventually that invitation to teach her how to serve will expire, right? So we have this awesome window to really disciple her into what it looks like to serve and be the hands and feet of Jesus and what it means to be a disciple. And so with that, what is our end game? As parents, as kids ministers, as church leaders, what's the end game of teaching fifth graders to lead?
Yeah. So, I've always practiced in my ministry is that there's a couple of things that our focus is always the gospel. And we want them to understand the gospel on a personal level so that they can have that decision and follow Christ. That's ultimately what we want. But we can't stop there. That we can't just go, well, that's a win. They got baptized, we're done. And so the leadership part is really, it in some ways is the long game, because learning leadership and understanding leadership is a never-ending thing. Even today, you and I, we have conversations about how do we do this better? What can we do? We talk to our friends and other churches and other parents in many ways. So the end game for a fifth grader is they're going on mission. They're serving overseas. They're serving their neighbors. They're reaching out to their friends at school. They're reaching out to their families. And so the end game is that they're reproducing themselves.
That's right.
Is that they're able to do discipleship not just with themselves but also with other people. And if they're learning leadership is a discipleship thing. It's pulling other people in and showing them how to be a leader so that you're reproducing yourself multiple times over. So
Absolutely.
I think it's an important part of it.
And I think that's so helpful for us just to remember. Like, we have the short game, which is like, we want them to be better leaders by the end of fifth grade. But the goal isn't a better fifth grade year. The goal is a stronger church.
Yep.
The goal is disciples making disciples, right? And of course, like you said, we want those fifth graders who can help younger kids and run tech, and we want them to lead with love and a Christ-like attitude and self-discipline. But we want to see adults who love the church, who know their gifts, who are actively serving. And we have such a pivotal window to make that happen and to teach them how to do that.
Yeah, we want them to own their own faith and to understand what that looks like. And another part of the long game is, what does their family look like when they're parents?
So good.
And so it's going to continue to feed itself, and it's going to hopefully change the kingdom for the good in the long run. So good.
So have we seen any fruit from this? Like, what fruit have we seen with students that have graduated out of fifth grade leadership? How are we seeing this start to that cycle to begin? Yeah.
So, already, when we have fifth graders that step out, I love seeing them when they're in student ministry and they're out, they're going on mission themselves, whether it be Chicago for us or Vancouver, or all the things, the opportunities that we as a church offer. But I'll just use a personal example. My son, he's 16 and went through the fifth grade, kind of missions opportunity stuff. And I love seeing him invite his friends from school to be a part. And so now he's got a friend that comes on a regular basis. And so he's living that out and representing. And so I love it when you see all these other fifth graders and they're looking to be a serve. They're driving the student ministry leaders nuts because they're always up here looking, what can we do? I want to be a part. Church is fun. They enjoy it. And they want to be a part of what's going on. And so it's beautiful to see it when it just keeps playing itself out that way. So
yeah, we've seen really similar feedback at our campus as well. And it's just kind of this understanding that, like, fifth grade isn't the finish line of kids ministry. It's the beginning of leadership, right? Like, promotion into sixth grade and success in student ministry begins far before advancement day. It begins that fifth grade year and really preparing them. Yeah. And we hear the same thing, that our sixth graders are the ones that are leading in students because they have experienced opportunities to give back and to serve and to go on mission. And it's been really, really, really beautiful to see. So, Brad, what are you most excited about sharing at the Elevate conference?
Well, I think the thing that I would probably be most excited about is sharing our mistakes. And kind of walking through saying, hey, listen, this is what we've learned and what we've experienced. And also what I'm most excited about is hearing from other people's, like, what are they doing? We're not perfect, but we're learning it and we're trying. And so I'm excited about that back and forth that we'll get to have when we have that breakout, is hearing what other people are doing and saying, oh, I love that. I want to use that. How does that work in this? That kind of thing. So I'm excited about being able to be able to share, hey, this this is what it can be for your church. Don't do this because it didn't work for us. But also, we're not the end game. It might work for you. So I don't want to squelch that for anybody. But I'm excited about that. I think it'll be good. It's going to be fun.
I am too, and I think it's great to see that this can be used with churches of all sizes, right?
It really
You are
can.
going to have this stage, no matter if you're a church of 100 or whether you have 1,000 kids. This stage is going to approach, and it is so important for families and ministries to not just avoid it or not just rush through this season in a kid's life. And so I guess, our final thought, like children's ministry shouldn't simply ask kids to come and consume what we have prepared. We want to invite them to participate in the work of the kingdom. Just as Jesus came to us, we enter in the world of children, right? And we invite them, and he invited ordinary people to join his ministry and his mission. And so we want to invite kids into the life of the church in the same way. So Brad, thank you so much for sharing that.
Yes,
helping families build lasting faith is one of the most important investments that a church can make. And so if you would like to dive deeper into this topic with Brad and I, we would love to see you and join us for the Elevate Conference here on September 21st and 22nd of 2026. So to learn more about every breakout that's going to be available, just register today, elevatechurchconference.com. So thank you guys for listening to the Brentwood Baptist Leadership Podcast. We hope you've enjoyed the road to Elevate, and we cannot wait to see so many of you at Elevate in just a few weeks. It's been fun, Brad.
It's been fun.